When most people think of bees, they imagine little yellow and black insects swarming around their hive, sucking out nectar and pollinating flowers on their daily journeys. However, hives don't last forever, and the navigation system of bees is far from perfect. So what happens when a bee loses its way? We often take it for granted that bees know where their home is and aren't in much danger of getting lost. The bees that leave the colony in search of pollen and nectar are worker bees, female and responsible for the majority of the work in the hive. In an average colony of honeybees, there may be 20,000 to 80,000 female worker bees, a few hundred male drones, and a single queen bee. Female worker bees are likely the types of bees you've encountered in your garden. They only have a 2-month lifespan on average, the first 2 weeks of which are spent working inside the hive, so once they leave the hive, they don't want to waste time getting lost. Fortunately, bees have a remarkable means of navigating the world without getting lost, which consists of using the sun as a fixed point and maintaining an angle in relation to the sun. When foraging for food, a bee will find a food source, then return to the hive in a straight line, where it will engage in a short, instructive dance to tell the other bees where the food can be found. Experts believe this season-independent ability has something to do with the ocelli on top of their heads, which are somehow able to calculate vectors and locational information, similar to GPS on our phones. This is combined with surprisingly accurate mental maps of their immediate surroundings. Together, these can prevent a bee from getting lost in their neighborhood, so to speak. However, if a bee is somehow taken away from its normal environment, or if a bee's hive is completely destroyed, a bee will have to figure out some way to survive. If a honeybee loses its hive or is separated by a large geographical distance, there's a good chance they will attempt to enter another hive. What happens next depends on what types of bees are involved, the health of the hive, whether the foreign bee is bringing nectar and pollen into the hive, and whether they are heavily doused in pheromones. If the guards recognize the chemical signature, or if the bee is from an interrelated colony, they may be allowed to enter. If a completely foreign bee or another insect, such as a wasp, attempts to enter, they will likely be chased off or killed if persistent. If a hive is completely destroyed, there may be no way to restart a colony and salvage it. In partially destroyed hives, or in the case of a dead queen bee, a new queen can be inserted, around which the drones and workers will once again unite. If this isn't possible, attempting to join another colony is the only option for honeybees. Rogue or drifter bees may get lucky and be accepted into another colony, but in formal studies, only about 30% of foreign bees are accepted. So, if you ever see a bee lazily buzzing around your lunch table, leave it be. These critical pollinators are under attack from all sides, and their lives are hard enough.